I'm currently in the middle of so many book series, which is actually ridiculous considering I just got back into reading about 2 years ago. So in my notebook here, I wrote down just some of the series that I really want to get through this year. So in this video, I'm going to try and get through as many book series as I can. And oddly enough, the first series that I'm going to be completing, I didn't even write down on this list. So I may need to make a second list of series. So I actually already started the first book that I'm going to be reading in this video. And let me just start off by saying this book is a very anticipated book for me. It follows a trilogy, which that trilogy is basically one of the books that really got me back into reading. And it is none other than The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I am about 60% of the way through. And let me just start off by saying this book is chunky. This book is 469 pages, which for a book that's technically a novella but not a novella, this could have been a heck of a lot shorter and my rating probably would have been bumped up a bit. I think I'm going to save all of the ratings on these books until the end of the video just so I can solidify my rating and figure out my exact thoughts on the books. But right now, unfortunately, we're sitting at kind of like a 3 stars, which is not bad. But considering the Inheritance Games trilogy is a complete 5-star series for me, it just, But I didn't even say what the book was about, so let's backtrack a little bit. Basically, in this book, we switched a little bit. We are now in Grayson and Jameson's point of view. We are no longer in Avery's point of view. So the back of the book's a little bit misleading because it says 4 brothers, 2 missions, 1 explosive read. But we don't really get too much of Nash and Xander, which are the other 2 brothers. And that is what I think everybody was anticipating, was to get an equal amount of all the brothers, especially since it says the brothers Hawthorne. But we basically go back and forth from Grayson and Jameson's point of view. Now, I am Team Jameson all the way, let me tell ya, but I don't like his point of view really at all. I'm not interested, I'm not invested. It's just kind of like a plot that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really care. But Grayson's point of view, on the other hand, I'm really enjoying his storyline, and I didn't think that I was going to, so that was a little bit of a surprise. Other than that, I really don't have too many thoughts on the book. I did go into it with kind of lower expectations just because I have heard that basically everybody who read it did not give it the rating they thought they would. Little bit of a disappointing read, but my goal is to finish this book soon. And I know for a fact later on in this video, we're gonna have some amazing reads, so stay tuned. Apparently I'm the worst vlogger in the world, and I thought that I got some footage of me reading The Brothers Hawthorne and finishing it, but I apparently didn't, which makes sense because my thoughts on it pretty much stayed the same throughout the whole rest of the book. But as you can tell, I did in fact finish the first book of this video, and I will say we didn't start off on the highest of notes, but to be honest, that was kind of expected. So I do have quite a few thoughts on this. Make sure to read the trilogy before going into this book, otherwise this book will not make much sense. I still love the original trilogy with my whole heart. I love it so much, and the characters, and it was so good to be back in this world. Like I said, I finished the trilogy probably about 2 years ago now, and it made me so happy to be back with these characters. I do agree with the complaints. I wish that I had more of Nash and Xander. I need a Nash and Libby book, for crying out loud. I need more. So I do post a lot of ratings and my reviews on the books that I read on Goodreads, which if you're interested in following me, it'll be linked down below. And I gotta say my biggest complaint of this book is just the length. This book is 469 pages. If this were a novella, or if it were at least 200 pages shorter, I guarantee you that my rating for this would have been way higher. For me, there was no reason for it. And obviously, I don't want to say too much because this is the 4th installment, kind of. Unfortunately, it was just kind of a meh book for me. Grayson's storyline and Jameson's storyline, they were alright, but But with that, we have our first book of this video completed, so I think it's time to choose the next book. And to be honest, I had a certain amount of books I wanted to read in this video, and this book was not one of them until recently. So recently I posted a little fun reading vlog, reading books by authors who have the same name as me. And spoiler alert, in that video I read Divine Rivals, and let's just say that influenced me to jump right into Ruthless Vows. I have to just say the covers of both of these books are breathtaking, with the typewriters and the letters and I love it so much. So the next book I'm going to be reading in this video is going to be Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This will be the second and last installment to the Letters of Enchantment series. And now obviously this is the second book and you do need to read the first book before jumping into this one. So I can't say too much about the plot. Again, I really want to keep this vlog as spoiler free as I possibly can. But the one thing that I have gathered about this book compared to the first book is that the first book is more romantic-y. You get a lot more of the romance element between our two main characters who are Iris and Roman. And from how the first book left off, I have a feeling that this is going to be more of the world building slash god slash fantasy elements. And I feel like that's what I've heard a lot about this book. I must say, I am going to predict that I will be rating this book pretty high just because of how I felt about Divine Rivals. But to give a little bit of a backstory, basically the whole first book takes you on a little journey between our enemies who are Iris and Roman. They are both journalists and both kind of going through very, very different family situations. Roman comes from money and higher power, and Iris is going through a lot of grief and a lot of hard times, and I feel like that's really carrying over into this book as well, or at least I predict that it will. But this book is going to focus a lot more on the two gods who are currently going at it. So we have Enver and we have Daco. No, that's not right. What is it? Can I find it? I think it's Daco. I can't remember. But anyways, enough yapping. I'm very excited for this book. I gotta say, my expectations are pretty high, so let's start it, shall we? I'm currently walking into school and I've been listening to Ruthless Vows, and we're starting to get little baby snippets of the romance, and I'm so here for it. But I have a feeling a plot twist is coming. I have finished Ruthless Vows, and oh my gosh, this duology. I actually sped through this book so quickly. I enjoyed it so much. So like I said earlier, this book really follows the storyline of the gods in the world, which is very new to me. I haven't really read a book quite like that, and I'm kind of getting into fantasy, which I would assume is this genre. And honestly, I couldn't really tell where this book was going, so it really surprised me, but the overall ending, the way that things wrapped up, is just so satisfying, and I'm so happy. I can't remember exactly when this series came out. I want to say it was maybe 2 years ago now, but let me tell you, it was so worth the hype. I highly recommend. If you guys couldn't already tell, the next book series that I will be finishing off is going to be the Off Campus series, which is so bittersweet. The last book in the series is obviously The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. And now, am I a fan of these covers? No, but I have been trying to collect all of the old covers so that they match. So shout out to my friend Olivia for finding me The Legacy in the old covers, because I could not find it for the life of me. I quite literally sat down the other day and binged 204 pages of this book in one sitting. That's how much I'm enjoying it. The problem with me and good books is that when I find a good book and have the time to sit and binge it, I could literally read the entire book in a sitting if I love it that much. But without spoiling this one, basically The Legacy follows all 4 of the couples from the first 4 books, and they each get their own kind of novella, I would say. I won't say what the different parts are just because I don't want to spoil anything, but part 1 follows Logan and Grace's story, which is from The Mistake, which is book 2. Their novella was so cute. Part 2 follows Dean and Allie. Love Allie. I cannot stand Dean. I can't stand him. I refuse. No. I severely disliked him in the score. And this novella made me hate him even more, to be honest. No. Nope. So glad to be on to part 3, which is Sabrina and Tucker's story. Theirs has probably been my favorite so far. And then obviously part 4 is with Garrett and Hannah, and I think it's funny because she started off the series, The Deal, with those two characters, and now she's ending it off in this one. Oh, it's so bittersweet. I'm so excited to say that I will finally be reading The Legacy, but at the same time, once I'm finished with it, I'm gonna be so sad to say goodbye to these characters temporarily until I start Briar U, which, to be honest, I'll probably be starting pretty soon, knowing me and these books. Can you tell how giddy I am about this book? Ugh, so bittersweet. But I think I only have 3 maybe? I only have 3 more chapters until I get to part 4. Oh my gosh. But before I dive into any homework, because who wants to do homework when you have this, I think I'm going to finish off part 3 and save part 4 for another day. At least try to. No promises on that one, actually. What? What did you do? Alrighty y'all, so it has been a little bit and I have the 3 books that I read, and it is time to give my final reviews and ratings. So first I picked up The Brothers Hawthorne. I know I didn't really vlog too much about it, but my thoughts pretty much stayed the same throughout the entire book. I did give this a 3 stars, however it's probably more of like a 2.5 for me now. Simply put, if it was just shorter and if it covered all 4 of the brothers, I would have absolutely adored this book, but it did fall a little bit short for me. Next, I finished up the Letters of Enchantment duology with Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I gave this 4.5 stars. I did like the first one just a little bit better, but still, this duology is so amazing and probably one of my favorite duologies that I've read. Highly, highly recommend this book and the series. And lastly, I finished off the Off-Campus series with The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. I also rated this a 4.5 stars. I adored the series. It was just fun and careless, but at the same time, I got so attached to these characters, and I definitely want to start the Briar U series at some point here. I would highly recommend reading all 4 of the books that come prior to this one before picking this one up, as there is kind of a novella for each of the couples. But it was such a fun read, and I absolutely flew through this book. I literally got done with this in like 2 days. So I wound up finishing 3 series off of my list, which is absolutely amazing. Have I started other series since then? Yes, I have. So we may need to make a part 2 to this video and cross off some more series off of our list, because there's quite a few. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more bookish content or just more chaotic content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.